If you are dealing with abandonment issues or any sort of emotional trauma, um, and it feels very, very intense, it could be ancestral trauma that you're healing and working through. Um, Especially, I want to talk about abandonment. Is the main thing I really want to talk about. Um, some signs that you may um, be challenged with the abandonment issues is if you ever find yourself, if you're with a crowd of friends out and about having fun, and then out of nowhere you just get this sense of loneliness that, like, even though you're in a group of all your friends and they're having fun and everybody's laughing, you still feel like something is missing. That could be abandonment issues that stem from um, ancestral trauma, because especially if you don't know why, if you have those experiences and you're like, why do I feel like this, you don't know what it stems from. It's most likely it stems from abandonment issues that your ancestors have dealt with. Believe it or not, their DNA is in us. Our DNA comes from our ancestors, so their life, their energy is a part of our makeup of who we are. And as a result of that, the memories and experiences that they've had in their lives, all come accumulating down into us, if you want to look at it like that. Another way, you can, figure out if there's been abandonment issues with your ancestors is look at the rest of your family. Do you notice trends with, like, your brothers and sisters, your siblings, your mom and your father? Do you see a pattern of, not having fulfilling relationships, can't keep a happy home, um, and you feel like that you're the outsider, like you're the only one that has your shit together, and you don't understand why they're all acting like they are. That could be another sign of abandonment issues. You know, Going through the ancestral line. You can also do some research on your ancestors and you know see the life that they experienced. If you have any books or any journals or anything like that, or even look online like historical documents, you'll be surprised what is out there. It's like, there's a lot of information out there that can give you an understanding of what your ancestors have dealt with. Even kind of look into the history of, like, where they lived. Even if it's like my family in a small town in Ohio, like looking at you know what was going on in that area during their times, like wars and civil wars and all that shit going on. That can give you an understanding of what they were dealing with, and you may be able to pinpoint some abandonment issues there. But ultimately, what I'm experiencing and what I'm learning is that you're also going to notice that pattern in your own life. I talked about having that feeling of being alone, even though you're with a ton of friends. But also look at your relationships. Are you noticing patterns? You look back and, like, why did I think like this? Why did I feel like that? And especially if you're feeling that now, if it's really, really intense, like it's just so intense, it's irrational, it doesn't make sense. Like, in your logical mind, you're like, I know this person or these people are not for me, but why do I have this intense feeling or attraction towards them, even though I know they're not right for me? And I just can't shake it. It goes on for months and you just can't shake it. Some people try to, come up with these twin flame theories and all that. I don't really believe that. To a certain extent, I'm not going to get into that, but there's a danger when you start thinking, oh, this could be a twin flame, but ultimately it could be your mission here is to heal that abandonment wound, that trauma that your ancestors have dealt with. If you feel like that, you're about to break, with this energy and this feeling, that's probably ancestral trauma. And one way that I've been working with that is connecting with my ancestors more and more. Whenever I have those feelings or go through those experiences, that kind of tells me I need to connect with my ancestors, because maybe, having that connection with them, that's going to heal their sense of abandonment, because you're showing up consistently to meet with them, to honor them, and just recognize them, say, hey, I remember you. You're not forgotten. Keep a family list of names and recite their names and pray to them, every Saturday. It's a good day for connecting with ancestors. So, wanted to share that, kind of, learning a lot of this when it comes to ancestral, trauma and wounds, and if you have any suggestions, please drop that into the comment section. I would love to kind of hear y'all's experiences and what you're dealing with. And then, ultimately, look into your astral DNA, your birth chart. You can see a lot of, wounds and things that need to be healed by looking in your birth chart. And if you want me to look into that to kind of guide you through that, send me a message or drop a comment as well. Be blessed.